Thank you for checking out my video today. In the description will be the links to my social media accounts, including my Twitch stream where I go live every day. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a good one. Welcome back to X5 of Spades Gaming, and today we are going to be looking at day 2 of Core Set 2020 spoilers, and today's date is June 18th, and let's take a look at some of the new cards that they released today. So first up, we have a reprint of Planar Cleansing, which might actually be really good right now. It is 3 white for a sorcery. Destroy all non-land permanents. That includes planeswalkers, but does it cost too much? I feel like if this wasn't a core set, this would be a 5 mana card maybe. But yeah, it's a 6 mana board wipe for everything other than lands. So it's good. I like it. It'll probably see a little bit of play, but probably not until Cleansing Nova rotates. You also have to remember that this does hit your shit too. So in that situation, Cleansing Nova is generally better because you can choose if either you have the creatures and they have the enchantments and artifacts, or vice versa. This blows everything up. It doesn't matter if it's yours or not. So yeah, maybe in a super control deck that's not running very many enchantments in white, which I think that's going to be pretty hard to do. So next card we have is Ravenous Hydra. He's an X green creature Hydra with trample. Ravenous Hydra enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters, and then when it enters the battlefield you may choose one of the following. Double the number of +1/+1 counters on Ravenous Hydra. So you pay 4 GG and it comes in as a 4/4, or it's a 4/5 because it's a 0/1. So you can it can come in as a 4/5, or you can have it come in as an 8/9, or you can have it fight target creature you don't control. I think more often than not, if you're going to cast this, you're going to double the counters, unless if you have to maybe have a 4/4 that can blow up a Chain Whirler or something like that. That's not a bad play, but I think at 6 mana, you're probably already dead. But hey, you never know. We'll find out. The next one is a little interesting. It's another foreign release. Loaming Shaman, 2 green, creature Centaur Shaman. It's a 3/2. When Loaming Shaman comes into play, target player shuffles any number of target cards from his or her graveyard into his or her library. So it's either a combo enabler or it's graveyard hate, or both. I mean, that's why I think this card will probably see a little bit of play. It's kind of like Gaia's Blessing plus Tamiyo. For 3 mana, it's not as good as Tamiyo. But if you, I don't know, I think this will see play in like Bant or Simic Control, mid-range, that kind of thing. Something that's running like Krasis, but also maybe a Teferi, that kind of thing. I think this is that deck's card. It's a pretty big counter to something like, Command the Dreadhorde. And there's one card that'll go with this that I think is pretty important. So let's take a look. Oh yeah, we have Leyline of the Void. Command the Dread, nope. So that basically shuts off that entire deck unless they have like a fucking like a Assassin's Trophy for your Leyline, which, I mean, that happens. Okay, whatever. Basically it reads, it may start, if it's in your opening hand, you may start the game with it on the battlefield. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. Pretty freaking good. Leyline of Anticipation is another fun one. Basically, it has the same, if it's in your opening hand, you can start the game with it on the field. And it says, you may cast spells as though they had flash. That's good. It's Vidalcan Orrery for blue. Pretty nice. Leyline of Combustion, I'm not even going to bring up. It's not good. Basically, if you become a target of a spell or ability, you deal 2 damage to that player. I guess maybe it's good, but it's definitely the weakest of the 4 that we've seen so far. I imagine that's going to kind of stick with it. Now we have some interesting ones here. they're both 2-mana cards. They're both 1/1s. So are we going to see a cycle of more of these? I would think so. They're both uncommons. And they have protection from a color. Interesting. So the black one is Blight Beetle. He's a 1/1 for 1 and a black. And it has protection from green. And he reads, creatures your opponents control can't have +1/+1 counters on them. That's good. It's pretty good. Now, is that card good enough to see play by itself? Probably not. Not unless if green just takes off. Other weird thing to note here is that, like, you can't put a +1/+1 counter on this from a green source because it has protection from green. So, like, you can't make this thing bigger very easily without... You could put, like, a black enchantment on it, I guess. Something that'll, like, return to the battlefield, that kind of thing. But I don't think most people are going to go that hard on that card specifically. It might be a 1-of sideboard card in, like, or a 2-of in, like, a mono black deck that's just trying to beat certain things. It does shut down, again, like the Command the Dreadhorde style gameplay, because if they can't get counters, I mean, I guess they still explore, so it doesn't really ruin that game plan, but it's definitely not as good when you don't have, when your Wild Growth Walker is a 1/3 instead of a 12/14 or something like that, right? So that is important. And then we have the Unchained Berserker. He is a 1/1 with protection from white, which, okay. Unchained Berserker gets +2/+0 as long as it's attacking. This one is not as good. So basically so far in the spoilers, we've seen red cards that are really good and red cards that are really bad. There's not really much in the middle so far. Unchained Berserker is not great. Like, I don't see that one ever seeing any play, I guess. Nah, like, unless if everybody's running white, then maybe. But even then, I still think that that's not good enough. All right, and then we have our first commander of the day. We have Kalia, Zenith Seeker. We have a Mardu commander, 3 CMC for a 3/3. Pretty good. She has flying and vigilance. Again, pretty good. And then when she enters the battlefield, you may look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an angel, a demon, and or a dragon card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in any random order. So she's a 3-mana 3/3 that might draw you a card. Might. I won't say that she will draw you a card. But I think she actually fits into an existing deck, which is kind of weird for a card that looks very specifically for Commander. She could fit into like a Mardu Angels or a Mardu, like the Mardu Flyer deck that runs like Lyra and Seraph of the Scales and sometimes Demanding Dragon. Like that kind of that deck could be good. And then I just put the old Kalia next to her just to kind of show off what she used to do. Basically, whenever she attacked, you could put a demon, angel, or dragon from your hand onto the battlefield. I'm not sure which one's actually better. I think the new one might actually be a little bit better. And if you can flicker her at all, we do have a few flicker effects in white right now. You can maybe get that once or twice, which is really good. So let's just wait to see if we get more supporting pieces for Mardu Flyers. But I'm pretty excited about Kalia. So let's take a look at our other legendary creature we found today. It is Golos, Tireless Pilgrim. He's 5 CMC for a 3/5. And he has, when he enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield tab, then shuffle your library. Okay, that's good. It's a 5-mana card that ramps you. So cool, I guess. But he has an activated ability of 2 and Wooburg, so good luck with that. So it costs 7 to activate it. But if you can actually pay it, you exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without paying their mana costs. So it is important that it says play, not cast. So if you hit land for some reason, unfortunately, you can actually cast it. It's basically Solemn Simulacrum that's got an upgrade. He's a 5 mana 3/5 instead of a 4 mana 2/2. He doesn't draw you a card, but he can exile the top 3 and you can cast him for free for 7. Yeah, it could be good. It's definitely a fun commander. It's a 5-color commander that is gonna be basically dealing with really big shit you can play early. I'm not sure if he can see play in Standard. With Ugin, he only costs 3, but that would basically require you to already have 6 mana, so maybe you play Ugin, drop Golos, and hope he lives the next turn, and then activate his ability with something like Chromatic Lantern on the field, because at that point you would have 7 mana. So there is that line. Again, your deck has to be just loaded with really big or like really impactful spells for that to matter, and I'm not sure if there's enough there yet. Now, if we see something else like just crazy good that maybe costs 7, then sure, it could be fun, but it should be a fun build around at the very least, and I definitely can't wait to try Golos. It'll be fun. And then let's see here. We have a few random cards I wanted to show off here. Whoop, we don't need that. That's bad. We'll hide that. That was from yesterday's. Okay, so we have Starfield Mystic. Cool. It's a 1 and a white for a rare, 2/2. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Cool. And then whenever an enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on the Mystic. All right, not bad. It makes your enchantment spells cost a little bit less. Cool. Field of the Dead is an interesting land. It taps for colorless, enters the battlefield tapped, which is okay. But when Field of the Dead or another land enters a battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands with different names, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. I mean, is that possible in Standard? Yes. Are you going to want to do that? No. But in Commander, it's going to be a good card. Basically, you want to play that in probably any deck that's running at least 2 colors. Maybe in a 3-color deck, it's good. In a 2-color deck, it's okay. And then lastly here for our randos, we have Legion's End. It's 1 and a black, and it reads, exile target creature an opponent controls with converted mana cost 2 or less, and all other creatures that player controls with the same name as that creature. Then that player reveals their hand and exiles all cards with the same name from their hand and graveyard. So I don't know if that's good enough. It's a sorcery too. So like if this was an instant, I think you could maybe make the argument for it against like decks like mono red or mono white. But the other important thing to note here is it can just wipe the entire board of tokens that all have the same name. So right now we have soldier tokens and goblin tokens and zombie tokens. Those are like the 3 big ones right now. And I guess angel tokens if you're going total meme lord. But I think that's what we're kind of looking at here is it's probably a mass token removal. So if a big token deck takes off, I think that's probably a card that might see play. Other than that, it's a 2-mana exile, a 2-drop, so it's not really that good. And it's at sorcery speed, so you can't like kill it on their turn before combat. So, it's okay. It's not great. And then the last card here, it's really good. Veil of Summer. It costs 1 green for an instant. Draw card. If an opponent has cast a blue or black spell this turn, spells you control can't be countered this turn. You and permanents you control gain hexproof from blue and black until end of turn. So basically what that means is your opponent casts Duress. you cast Veil of Summer. You get hexproof. Because your Veil of Summer is on the stack before that, your Veil of Summer will resolve first. So then you have hexproof, so then their duress will fizzle. So you draw a card, you counter their spell, and you don't lose a card. So you're 2-for-1ing an opponent for any hand disruption they play, which is really good. It's basically anti-hand disruption, which is a counter to Grixis right now. It's a counter to blue-black, and it has a 1-mana counter spell cantrip against blue-black. That's really good. Like, that's really, really good. The other thing to note here is that if you were to, let's just say you play a couple creatures out, they cast down your creature, or cast downs on the stack, you play Veil of Summer, now they lose their kill spell, plus you get your Veil of Summer, and I think unless they counter Veil of Summer, anything else you play that turn would be uncounterable. So the card replaces itself. It's a counterspell and gives you protection. That's pretty freaking amazing. Like, I don't know how good it's actually going to be in practice, but it just seems really good. Like, green definitely has some play pattern against blue-black right now, especially with things like Carnage Tyrant and Nullhide Ferox, which basically can't be targeted anyway. So I think if you want to go into that green hexproof kind of deck, this is going to be really good. But yeah, that's the end of the spoilers for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time... Oh, sorry, wait, hold on, one other thing. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, and take a look at my the description of the video and see if there's anything there that you want to check out. So, anyways, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Have fun. Bye-bye.